You're about to watch a video that I recorded as a Facebook Live last night when I was cooking vegetarian nachos for my family. Now in the video, you might see me being a little bit unsure about whether my method is going to turn out. Because what I am doing is adapting a slow cooker recipe for the normal oven that we all have. I want to assure you that the result I got was absolutely perfect for nachos. So you can be confident that if you follow those instructions, you will get a great result. I would say that I just cooked them for 2 hours though. I think in the video I say 2.5 to 3 hours. So you just might want to reduce that cooking time or check on them as you go. Enjoy the video, particularly the part about 5 minutes from the end where I almost set something on fire. Enjoy. Hi everyone, my name's Jen. I am a food writer and the co-author of the cookbook Easy, Healthy, Tasty with my colleague dietitian Charity Spalding. And through this crazy quarantine period, Charity and I have been doing a little bit of home cooking live on Facebook, just to be able to share this quarantine experience with you, to show you how easy it is to make, to cook at home, easy and delicious and healthy food. And so I'm doing something a little bit unusual this evening. Just a moment, I'm going to address what I've got going here. Something that's slightly different this evening. This evening, my family is actually having for dinner nachos. We love nachos. There are a million, trillion different ways to make nachos, and I don't often make them the same way twice, but lately I have been doing something the same for my nachos, and that is using this delicious black bean mix as the bean topping. And that's what we're having tonight. I actually had some in the freezer, so I will show you what the finished product looks like. Just a minute. The finished product of our nachos mix looks like this. Honestly, Facebook, it probably looks like a bit of a black slop, but if you could smell it, you would know that it is there's very delicious aromas coming off it. This is Cuban style black beans, but we're going to turn them into Mexican nachos, I suppose, via Australia. So I want to show you how I made this nacho mix whenever I made it before I put it in my freezer. And I'm going to do it slightly differently to how I normally do it, in that I'm going to do it in a no-chop method and also a conventional oven method. Whereas normally, of course, I'd be chopping stuff and I would actually use a slow cooker to do these beans. So there's a few things I'm shaking up here, and my fingers are crossed that it actually all turns out all right. But let's begin. It's very, very easy to make these Cuban black beans. You basically just dump everything in a pot. So, I have put a cup of frozen sliced onion in some oil that was cold in the pan, and then I've turned the pan on and brought it to heat. That's the best way to deal with frozen chopped onion. And the benefit of using frozen chopped onion is that you don't have to chop it yourself. You don't have to make your eyes go all cryy. And it is available in most supermarkets. So that is just coming to just cooking off right there. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of cumin seeds. I am not measuring precisely. There's no need to do that for this dish. So just a little bit more. 2 tablespoons of cumin seeds. I have researched a million different recipes for even this kind of Cuban black beans too. And there are lots of different ways that you can do it that involve cooking things, slow cooking them in the slow cooker or in a pressure cooker or in a stovetop or in an oven. There are different flavors that you can add before or after you cook. But actually, most of the recipes are all using these same ingredients. They'll use cumin, which is a really, I mean, I can smell it coming off here now. It's got a really delicious depth to it. And they will also use green capsicum. For the recipe tonight, so that in order that we don't have to chop, because I promised this would be no chop, we're using this. It's tinned chopped diced capsicum. 2 colours, obviously, but you can see that the colour, when it has been tinned, it has lost a little of its colour and vibrancy. But that doesn't really matter because it's all going to end up black, as you saw. Anyway, so I'm going to chop that in, and it sizzles a bit. And I will also chuck in, this is actually green capsicum I've chopped myself, and it's just because I had to use it up, so I'm using it up now. In fact, I often make this recipe with really, you know, the really kind of old capsicums you get that are sold on special. That's what I would use to make this recipe very often, because they all sort of cook down anyway. Then, this is 1 packet, so it's 375 grams of dried black beans. Now, most of the time, when you're dealing with beans, you have to soak them before you start cooking them. But actually, black beans are the only ones where that's not the case. So if you do think, oh gee, I don't like black beans, but I'd really like to try this recipe with kidney beans, don't try this exact method, because this is just specifically for black beans. I have emptied this packet and rinsed off the beans, and I've picked out any of the ones, you can see them here, any of the ones that look a little discoloured or look a little bit small, or just don't look, you know, right, like the big plump ones there. And that's an important thing to do whenever you have beans or lentils that you bought from dried, because they sometimes can have stones and stuff in them. I am now tipping them in, stirring them around, and I really can smell deliciousness right here. And it looks so pretty. The black beans look so pretty and shiny once you've done that. I'm then going to chuck in this. Now this is chipotle chili in adobo sauce. I've only discovered this in the last 2 or 3 years of my life, and I love it so incredibly much. You can buy this in the supermarket if you just go to the Mexican aisle where all the tortillas and tacos and stuff are sold. It's just there. Sometimes when you buy it, it's in a tin and you have the full chili soaked in sauce. And you can use that. You can just get that out and chop up the chili and chuck it in. But this one I like because it's the chilies sort of diced in the adobo sauce. And what this does, this is not a Cuban ingredient, but it really does add a really delicious smokiness and a little bit of chili-like heat to your food.
How much are you putting in?
I probably put a tablespoon in, but because I wanted to use up the jar, that's a tablespoon and a half, I'd say. So mix that all through. The other important flavouring in this is bay. So these are bay leaves that I've had in my freezer, and I've just chucked a couple of those in. They provide great flavour, but you take them out before you eat the dish. So let's see, I've got all my flavour ingredients. I've got my onion, my cumin, my chipotle chilies. I think we need a little bit of salt. Just a largish pinch of salt, some pepper. Oh, I know what I've left out. Garlic. So in order to make this a no chop recipe, we are using already chopped garlic, and we want 6 cloves, so that's 6 tablespoons. Yes, it's garlicky. Sorry, it's 6 teaspoons, not 6 tablespoons. That would be very garlicky. So I've got about 3 there, and I have to open a new jar. So that's about 3 more. Knew there was something I couldn't forget. Okay, then we're going to cover these beans in water.
How much?
I'll tell you that I want the water to be covering the beans. So I've got 375 grams of my beans, and I want them to be nice and covered. So I'm using about 1 litre of water. So, put my lid on top, and I am going to put this in the oven on like a low oven, so 150 for 2 or 3 hours. You see why I couldn't make this at the same time as making the nachos for my dinner tonight. This is a make ahead one, but it freezes really well. So this is going in for 2.5 to 3 hours in a really low oven. Wow. I could sit back, I could relax. Under normal circumstances, I would have this in the slow cooker and I would do it at lunchtime so it would be ready for dinner. But it's not normal circumstances, it's Facebook Live. This is what the mix turns out like when it is done in the slow cooker. Done in the conventional oven, I am expecting that the beans, that the gravy will be more watery, but the beans will still be nice and tender after they've cooked in the oven for 2.5 to 3 hours. So if you sit the mix for a day, you might get a better...
Jen?
Oh, crap! Wow!
It's all right.
Oh, the smoke alarm's going to go off now.
This is Facebook Live.
My cooking! Oh, my kitchen down here on Easy Healthy Tasting.
This will be your most popular episode. Anyway, carrying on.
Okay.
Until the alarm goes.
It's really important that you don't burn down your kitchen when you are making this. Okay. So let's put together some nachos. Watch me. All I have to do is assemble now. It's all assembling from now on. Can't go much wrong. Can't go very wrong. Corn chips, right? These are just plain corn chips. It's a massive bag. Get as much as you like. I'm going to very hard time holding it together. But what you want is a plain corn chip, no flavouring on it, and you want it to be unsalted. So go to the health food aisle of the supermarket, not the chip aisle, right? Then, no chopping involved, no heat, no chance of fire.
Yep.
Lay out your chips and soap. Then sprinkle some cheese on the top because the hot bean mix then kind of melts into that. And then serve the rest of the cheese on top, on the side. I then put my bean mix on top. Now sometimes I make this nachos recipe and I bake it in the oven, but I'm not doing that tonight. I like it when it's nice and fresh. So I've got my corn chips and my beans, the Cuban beans and my Mexican corn chips. And then I like to add, when I have nachos, I want something really fresh on top. And so I have some kind of a salad on top, and that depends what I have. So if I'm making a no-chop nachos, I would go and buy a salad mix from the supermarket and have a nice green salad mix on top. I didn't have any salad mix, and I did want to use up what I had in my kitchen. So I've got a chopped salad here, which I did pre-chop earlier, of just tomato and what are those? Cucumbers, baby cucumbers. And so that all goes on top. Might save a little bit for the side. And then nachos aren't nachos without guacamole. And this is a guacamole that my 14-year-old daughter made. So that goes on top too. We might call these loaded nachos, right? That's probably good. If we were running a cafe, these would be loaded nachos. And then some sour cream. Now you could use yogurt if you wanted to. That is probably slightly healthier. But since I've almost burnt my kitchen down, I'm going to go with sour cream. A dollop of that on top. If you had some coriander, you could sprinkle that over the top. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more cheese.
Mmm.
And I'm going to serve on the side some jalapeno peppers because the parents of the family like those, but the younger people of the family don't. And so, my Mexican Cuban black bean nachos, that everyone in the family is going to grab a chip and grab a bit of topping and enjoy. I am totally shaken now. I don't know what to say. I've almost burnt down my kitchen live on Facebook. But you know, that's real life quarantine cuisine right now, I think we can say. It is a crazy, crazy time. And I hope you have enjoyed this dinner. I hope it's inspired you to make something at home. And I hope that you will join us another time when we make more dinners. If there's something that you would like us to cook, please make sure you mention that in the comments, or an ingredient you want us to use. Please make sure you mention that in the comments, and I will let you know how my never before made in the oven mix turns out, and suggest any tweaks that I might need to on Facebook later on this evening. I hope you enjoy your dinners tonight, because I certainly will.